Yeah, hopefully this doesn't turn, well, it is going to be about an hour video, my bad. Um, but this video, as you see, is called "It's More Expensive Than Ever to Be Single." And their thumbnail, I believe, says the the single tax or something like that. A couple disclaimers, if I can remember them. One, in no way am I trying to tell people how to live their life. I'm simply giving my thought process on how I view this this general idea of uh, um, whatever what the topic is. We'll get there. Another thing is I forgot my other disclaimer, so we're just gonna go right ahead and get into the video.
And today, we're talking about our single friends. We know them, we love them, but how are we treating them?
Oh yeah, I also kind of somewhat agree with the idea of a single tax, but I do like to address things as as they exist in reality at the moment. So yes, I do agree with her on the single tax, but I'm going to be addressing this as this current state of us having a single tax. So that's the second disclaimer. Continuing.
Now, I personally am long-term partnered. I've been with my partner for almost 12 years, but we're not married. And we keep our financial lives 100% separate. We don't have any shared bank accounts, savings accounts, or investment accounts. And we don't split our household expenses 50-50. I pay more towards certain bills, largely because I own the home that we live in, and the house.
Okay, so that type of situation is it was always a thing to some degree, no matter the generation. 1950 wasn't 100%. Everybody's married and never divorced and blah blah blah. But it's growing in at least and attempted to practice it a lot today, right? So many people are saying that's what they want, that's what they demand if they get married. My personal problem with this, and we've been over this before, but when she got to this part, and I only watched up to like 150, the rest of it will be a surprise to me. But the idea that anybody would come to me that we're interested in each other and they'll say, all right, we're going to keep everything separate, but we're going to share the same address. No, we're not. That doesn't make sense to me. Whether you're married or not, it seems like a really stupid idea that we say, hey, we're going to move in together. We're going to get married or just move in together and but keep everything separate. Why? Why can't you just spend a night sometimes? Why can't I just spend a night at your house sometimes? Why are we giving up the ability to, be fully separated and, and realistically single? And my space is my space. I do whatever I want with it. My time is my time. I do whatever I want with it. To combine lives with you, kind of, in which I lose my ability to have my own space, my ability to actually have my own money. Because remember, in that house, you are going, just because she is her house and she understands that your name is going on anything, so she's paying more of the bills. Do understand your money is taking care of things in that house. So I don't understand why I would agree to, all right, we're going to do this, and whoever house we move into, they're in charge of paying more of the bills, and it just seems so dumb. Like, tell me the benefit of that, other than like, I guess we wake up and fuck. But again, seriously, just spend the night at at the other person's house. It's retarded. You're not actually. It's the weirdest playhouse that I've ever seen. What exactly is the difference? Seriously, I keep talking about this every chance I get because I really don't understand the benefit of it. Like, I live alone right now for the last 8 years. In the time I did live with someone, I seriously don't understand what understanding that situation. I don't understand why I would be with someone in that capacity, but also at the same time not that capacity. It just seems so stupid. Just stay in a separate house. All right, enough of that. Moving on.
just mine. It is not something that we purchased together. Not being legally married means that there are certain financial benefits my partner and I are not eligible for, such as inheriting one another's Social Security benefits or being able to get tax breaks if we filed our taxes jointly. But of course, simply living together means that we each benefit financially from each other. And that alone is a big difference.
Okay, if you're going to say that you benefit financially from each other because you live together, I'm not sure, again, that makes it even dumber that you keep it all separate. What is the benefit? And what will be the benefit of keeping them all separate while complaining that you don't get the same tax breaks as if you were an actual fucking married couple? Like, what is the benefit? Do you see how stupid this is? This is dumb. And I don't know if they have kids or not, but some people do this exact same thing except with the kids. And it's like I can't. When I sit down and I try to like map it all out, I just don't get it. What is the point? Seriously, that real talk. I know this is other people's lives, but I'm trying to understand the logic of it, trying to put myself in those shoes. If I don't trust you enough to say, okay, that's the money. Here's your name on the house. What are we doing? I don't understand. But again, I'm not married, so I guess you get to play the card of you're not married, so you're stupid about marriage, so shut up. Or fine, moving on.
Between me and a single person who lives by themselves. So why are we talking about single people and their finances today? Well, firstly, it's a hugely overlooked area of personal finance education and advice. Most personal finance advice defaults to being a two-income household, which is particularly strange when you realize that more and more Americans are opting for being single or, like myself, partnered but not married. There is an increasing divide in U.S. culture along partnered lines, especially for women. Nearly 118.
Okay, so I don't understand people like this who, again, want to maximize their singleness, but still want society generally to compensate for their not wanting to like compensate for what society wants. Like us single people, you have to really look at this. We're telling society, fuck no, we're not going to just do the marry and kiss thing just because it's a thing in the process, but also do compensate me and give me the same things as if I am doing what you would want me to do. You can't be that. Like, you're a dick for doing shit like that. Like, seriously. But she mentioned something about how it, I guess, affects women. Let's look at this before she goes into it. More American women are single than ever before, and it's costing them big money. Oh, okay. And this is where I guess I'm pretty sure men will look at this. A lot of men will look at this and go, wait a minute. When we were married and the ones, hell, even now, we're told we got to take on more of that financial burden. So all of a sudden now it's costing somebody money, a relationship costing them money, or your lack of a relationship, whatever the fuck you would call it. Now we're going to like address the problem. Fuck that. No. Like, you want to address societal norms, make life as expensive. You're making life as expensive as it can possibly be, and then like complaining that it's costing you much. Well, yeah, you literally are choosing the more expensive option of life. You're choosing that, and now we're supposed to like try and do something about it. God, get out of here.
Million Americans, or about 46% of those over 18 years old, are single, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. But that percentage is actually much higher for women. A record-breaking 52% of them are unmarried or separated as of 2021, according to a recent report from Wells Fargo Economics. The growing number of Americans who have never married, either because they decided to get married later in life or forgo getting hitched altogether, have driven the rise of single women in the U.S. The share of never married women increased 20% over the past decade, according to Wells Fargo analysis of U.S. Department of Commerce data. And of course, we have to talk about the wealth gap because not all single people
Oh,
are.
my, we're going to do this. We're going to do. I wonder if she's doing it men and women, or if she's doing it are going to do it single people versus married people. I'm really interested in that. But as far as life getting more expensive, the one of the like main things that people seem to like not want to like admit or address or have any give on is when more people are single, more people don't do what she's doing, which is, partner and share a home. But those single people who forego getting hitched all together and partnering all that stuff is they buy their own home or get their own apartment. That's a higher demand than prior generations, cause causing the cost to go up. So even just by having the roof over your head is going to be more expensive because you're driving up the demand with being single. That is going to be a problem. Plain and simple. Like think about it. Whether you have kids or not, but let's go do the whole with the kids thing, right? Two people have 3 kids. They get a divorce, they break up, whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. They live in 2 separate homes. Okay, now that's 2 separate rents or mortgages. Now they have to drive more with the kids back and forth. They, going to see this play, going to the cost of that family has now gone up simply because they're a broken family. And now you guys want to have this super single thing going on and expect costs to go down or be the same. No, it's going to go up. Plain and simple. Even before you get to the tax breaks. But let's talk about this wealth gap thing that she's about to mention.
Living the same financial life. All singledom is not created equal, especially when it comes to gender parity. Women face not only a gender wage gap in the United States, earning about 83 cents per dollar to men, but they also run up against a wealth gap too. The median household income for married couples was $106,921 as of 2021, according to census data. Single women earn a median of $51,168.
Okay, now let's look at that number. I'm not sure what she's going to say, but that number just makes sense. It literally just makes sense. Single men versus single women and their earnings. When you take the 106, we'll just go 107, right? The 50 and that 7, that's 120, assuming that there will be a couple. But obviously, when 2 people get married, one of the things that happens sometimes, I'm not sure what the percentage of it is, but one of the things that happens is, well, the woman either stops working or works less, and they pass that burden on to the guy, or they get with a guy who makes more and he can take on more of a burden and she works less. So I guess that makes up for the uh 13,000 that would be missing. But yeah, I'm not sure what the complaint about this number would be. But oh, another thing is when you watch these dating shows, like I used to watch Kendra G. I don't really watch it as much now, but the number one thing that actually made up a term for it called Travelicia is the single women 9 times out of 10 is going to say must travel, must travel, must travel, must travel. And then when they do get their home, it seems to be like a really ridiculous either or with women, really in everything, but particularly homes. It's either she gets an apartment or she mortgages a mega house. No real in between there. And when you look at the complaints on Instagram about how the houses are working, the mortgages and stuff, women seem to be most likely or more likely than men to need to buy, like I said, a mega house, but like a new build mega house. And they get to complaining that the mortgage went up by like 5 grand or whatever. So that's way at your net worth because now your home is not worth as much because that new construction, and now they're like doing like the reassessment, all that stuff. So that eats away at your estate that you would have, liquid money and all that stuff. So really like the choices that people make, men and women make, as far as like simply just home having a home goes, that contributes heavily, just that one choice heavily, to the quote unquote net worth. And please stop mentioning this earnings gap. Seriously, men had for the longest time had like the running joke of I've never missed a day. I've never taken PO. I got 3 million days consecutive of working and never taking a day off or getting sick and blah blah blah. While women don't have that running joke because in every generation imaginable, when we've had a economy, a free market society, if they got days off, they took them. Like that's the thing. They brag about it. Now, if you want to do actual hard research and prove me wrong, fine. But I'm going by what we've all heard in the social media sphere for the last decade. All right. So moving on.
While single men make $70,525. We used to have the cultural expectation that women would follow a singular path. They would.
And another thing about single earnings and stuff like that. Um, well, when they go, like, everybody's not educated as despite what people like want you to believe. When it comes to people who don't have a degree, men are more likely, not that they all do, but men are more likely to go, you want me to, sacrifice either my body or get this certificate or skilled trade or whatever it is. And even if even before that, you got the whole thing where just the manual labor jobs and shit, men are more likely to go work those that are pay at least a little bit more, which over the course of a working year contributes to, thousands of, maybe not tens of thousands, but thousands of dollars, which helps boost the men's on average earnings, as you see, from like 50 to 70.
Get married, have kids, buy a house with a white picket fence, and largely depend on their male partner for financial security. Very June Cleaver, very Charlotte York. But both our culture and our financial reality in the United States has changed very drastically in the last 60 years, and most especially in the last 10 years. It is no longer feasible for most Americans to live on one income, especially if you do want to.
I hate that statement because it's a lie. People don't want to make any of the changes that could contribute to, allowing for one person to manage all the financial earnings. Also, how many times have you heard women themselves say, "I'll be damned if I depend on his check"? So until y'all like are knock those two things out, like for example, I said before, if two people get together early and decide that they're going to, go on this 3 to 5 year journey of banking out as much overtime as they can save up a lot of money, have enough to put down on the house where that mortgage is to where that man's income does cover that. And then they, budget, because people don't like that word, but you budget accordingly. And now you do have that ability to, again, for that woman to stay home. But do you get to live, again, the budget? Do you get to live like the super lifestyle? No. Do you get to live the lifestyle that if you would be single and you would, do whatever you want? Of course not. Hell, I'll take myself for example all the time in this type of conversation. I do not manage my money well at all. If I got it and I want to buy something, I just fucking buy it. But obviously, if I had kids and a wife, it would behoove me to, do that very, very differently. But for a lot of people, or in this particular case, I've seen a lot of women say, "Why do I got to change anything just to be with a man?" It is because you're with other people. Like somebody else is in the picture now. Like that's how life works. Like that's always how that works, and people don't want to do that. So here we are. You quote unquote have to work. You voluntarily are mandated to work. That the weirdest shit ever, but you are voluntarily mandated to work. There.
Other milestones such as buying a house or having children. I know that personally, as a homeowner, I could not afford my mortgage, my home insurance, and my property taxes comfortably without my partner here to pay a portion of that. I could probably pay for everything in my life without my partner to supplement it, but it would mean no longer saving or investing, which would put my own financial future in a much more precarious position. And
Look at that concept she brought up. So apparently, going back to what she said earlier, her partner doesn't pay a bulk of it. He pays enough to where she can invest and like do some other shit. But it's like if you two are together and you bring your finances together, wouldn't you be able to do that more? Because surely, because you keep your finances completely separate, there's a lot of money that neither one of you are bringing to the table that the other can see and benefit from. Again, it just seems so stupid. Just be an actual fucking couple. 12 years too. I don't understand these concepts. Oh, like this. I don't.
this is one of the big financial challenges that single people today have to contend with. And while the cultural expectation for every woman to get married and have kids has absolutely loosened, it has not disappeared altogether. And I can tell you from personal experience that a lot of people feel some type of way about the fact that my partner and I are together but not married. I have had people express,
Well, look at the scenario you drew up. You're here saying that the people who decide to live the life you live should like be compensated for it and all that. Well, not compensated. I can't think of the proper term, but like people should take it into consideration and like make it so that life isn't too expensive and all this stuff. But at the same time, you're voluntarily making your life this much harder. Literally, if you and that guy or that partner just if what do you want to do, a legal marriage? I'm going to say marriage, even though I always mean simply you have witnesses there who witnessed the vows that you all made to each other. That's all I mean by married. But if you and that partner married each other and brought all those finances to the table and structured it in a certain way, came up with the proper budget, you wouldn't feel this how you're talking now wouldn't be as much of a problem. But again, you're voluntarily doing this. So many people do, and it's like life is so hard. Like, stop making it hard. Stop it. Stop making life this difficult. Just be fully in the fucking relationship. And by fully, yes, I also mean financially. And you solve this problem. Like, does anybody else hear this? You solve this very problem she's talking about by literally just combining all of the finances. Damn. Hell, if you combine the finances, maybe you like can like refinance the mortgage or something like that, and like it goes down, but like now y'all have the same money still, so technically you still have more money, blah blah blah. Like I just don't understand why you're going to force the togetherly separate situation, but also go make it to where our togetherly separate is also considered the same as an actual marriage financially, so it can be just as like inconvenient. Like like you're not making it just as convenient. This is retarded.
open judgment of my relationship, telling me that they don't consider it as serious as if we were married, despite how long we've been together and the milestones that we've achieved as a couple.
Because you're not fully together. You're not fully together, so no, you don't get to say, despite we've been together 12 years though. It doesn't matter. You're not fully together. So yeah, they're kind of right when they judge your like little situation. I don't mean to be an ass, but your situation.
Some people also clearly pity me, though I will say I do think they try and hide it. But it's as if they think, oh, she hasn't been able to get him down the aisle, therefore she's not actually worthy of being in a relationship at all. Women are taught from a very young age to center men, and getting a man.
Oh, this is a finance channel, bro. This is a finance channel, and we're talking about this. Ladies, believe it or not, men are also taught to center women at every age. At that young age when y'all do goofy shit like you're entitled to our milk, we're told that that's okay. We're told that. Even at like 50, 60 years old. We will look at a guy who's still, whether he was a player or just some like loner guy. We say, girl, bro, like that's, if he's a loner, like, oh, he must be gay, I guess, because he's not with a woman. If he's a player guy, we'll go, bro, don't wait until till your balls fall off and you know need a hospice wife. We tell men to send to women as well, and we do this because it's very healthy. It's healthy to tell straight people to center the opposite gender because that's how humanity thrives if we center each other. If we make it so that we are doing what we need to do in our own rights with compatibility of each other, meaning men and women, you actually get a more refined product. Like it works better. And again, I'm not even speaking on monogamy. I'm totally for polygyny for those people who want to and can exercise that however they see fit. But again, it is very healthy to tell men and women to center each other. That is a healthy thing. Now, it is not healthy to say, "I bitch, shut up and just marry whoever," and if he smacks you in the face, no, that's not what centering is. All right, I don't have the definition in front of me, but that is not centering. All right, centering is simply saying, do things that this is what that other side wants. These things need to be done by you for that side. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right.
Especially marrying that man, is still seen as the default dream for straight women. Weddings are still commonly referred to as the biggest day of a woman's life, and culturally, we still talk about how little girls dream of getting married one day. And of course, we as a culture prioritize men's needs and ambitions well over women's.
Dude, I wish I knew how to do research. I would give you the entire fucking list of all the grants, all the programs aimed at getting women into education, higher education, the consideration for jobs, all that. The idea that we just consider men's needs, but like, stop it. Please stop. Fucking stop. We bitch all the time about family court. That ain't for us. We all the child support, the DNA fraud. Hell, there's quite a few videos where in some states, if the dude signs the birth certificate, that's it. If he's found out not to be the father later, don't fucking matter. He still got to do it. There are times where the stepdad was, well, you've been taking care of the kid for this long, so therefore you just got to keep doing it. Nigga, we don't give the idea that you can constantly. And this is I've said this before. This is why so many people are closed off to these conversations in general. Because when you can just default to I'm the victim again, like how the fuck do you have the house? How do you have the income to be able to foot the majority of the bills on the man doesn't, but still society is catering for men? Do you just have a vastly underperforming man in your life or something? This is how you get tuned out right here, by just not being serious at all with the idea or the conversation you're attempting to have. You resorted to being the victim 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes in, and the first minute was an intro. So 4.5 minutes into this video, oh, we women are always put on the back burner. Yeah, that's how you got to the whole we out earn you in like 20 cities. That's how you got there. Because we don't prioritize you, we instead prioritize men. So I guess we're just all around fuck ups that we prioritize men, but yet you still get to go, we out earn you in 20 cities, but also overall we still are the earnings. God, holy shit. This is a finance channel, but we spent this entire 5.5 minutes saying that women aren't given the proper tools, blah blah blah. Like damn. Can we get to the finance part of the video? Only finances.
As a result, single and unmarried people are still seen as weirdos. I can't tell you how many people see me, even though I am in a relationship with a man, as not having been truly chosen because I don't have a ring on my finger and we don't have a marriage certificate. And I think we've all been single at some point and in a conversation with someone where the first and most urgent question is, so, are you seeing anyone? The single tax is very real, and it's about more than just money. The literal single tax is this thing where everything about your life is more expensive simply because you don't have someone to split any of the costs with. Think about going on vacation and renting a hotel room. If you're doing that as a single person, that $800 hotel room, you have to pay for that.
Okay, again, you want the benefits of the being seen as a actual couple together, but you keep doing this thing where you refer to y'all as being separate, two different entities. Like you have to pick one there. You can't do the whole we do splitsies when we go on vacation, but also at the same time you should see us as a whole, one entity. Like come on, bro. You're not even trying to be like the whole thing. You're trying to have the uber convenience of solo dolo, but at the same time see me as this one with my partner here. No, you don't get that. You are yourself displaying that you are single from that person. Like, come on.
Entirely yourself. But if you're splitting that room with your partner, you only have to pay $400. And this shows up in less obvious ways as well, like being able to piggyback onto your partner's health insurance, which generally has lower costs, or even, as I mentioned before, having these long-term benefits.
Again, and this is why this pees me off. We're going to keep finances completely separate, but if it's beneficial for you or either one of us, we're going to put one of us on the other person's health insurance. Why? Don't be financially independent to where the point is convenient, but then also get the piggyback when it's not. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that idea being thrown around. That I'm supposed to be completely okay with us being financially separate, but also you get to benefit from the other person's cut the shit. You just want everything to be super convenient for you. That's what I get from people like this.
Benefits like being able to inherit Social Security benefits after your partner passes away. And the single tax is not just limited to those of us living in the United States. A survey.
The reason you don't get to get those people benefits is because you can't. I don't agree with all this government shit, but at the same time, the idea that you get to just claim a proximity to someone, therefore you get their benefits. No. You should have to be their family. Straight up. You should have to be their family. Not being married and then saying, oh, but I was, like, we lived together. That's literally, you're asking for proximity. So how come I can't just have a roommate and that person gets my benefits? Do it like this, like you're asking for a very convenient for your situation, what you want, even though it's really not beneficial for the entirety of the society. And again, I don't like the idea that we have to share all this shit, but we do. And until people get on board with the dismantling all of this and go full force with the individualism, I'm going to address these arguments this way.
Of 3,000 people found 44% of single respondents say the cost of bills is one of their biggest financial challenges. That's hardly surprising, given recent government data shows electricity prices increased by 4.5% in the 12 months to June 2025, while average UK private rents rose by 7% in the 12 months to May 2025. Other bills, like council tax, aren't divided fairly for single occupants, who only have a 25% reduction in cost for living alone. Single 18 to 40-year-olds were also found to save half of that saved by those in relationships, £301 per month compared to $609. And just under a third, or 29%, of single people reported not having an emergency fund, compared to less than 1 in 6, or 16%, of those in a relationship. That's from a study out of the United Kingdom, so we can see that this is something that people are grappling with outside of the United States. But back home here in the United States, cost of living has been at the forefront of the economic and political conversation for all of 2025. We have a housing crisis where there's not enough housing stock, and the stock that's available is increasingly expensive. And everything from electricity bills to groceries have gotten more expensive this year. And here's a specific example. Here's the cost of a year's worth of expenses in New York City, according to data out of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The figures are measured in 2022 inflation-adjusted dollars. Single-person household, $39,130 a year. Two-person household, both working, $56,033 a year. Notably, a couple's typical expenses aren't merely double what a single person pays. That's because expenses like food, transportation, and entertainment can offer cost efficiencies that favor couples who split their expenses. Take food for
There she go with that split shit again, dog. It's goddamn. But again, about that housing thing she brought up, where like the rent increase and all that, and savings and stuff. If you have one house instead of two, it's easier to save for retirement because it's two of you for one house. Rather both of you want to work, one of you want to work, it's one house. So even if you have children and they help taking care of you in your old days, which I know people want to push that to the government as well, they only have to take care of one home as opposed to two. Or maybe they move the two of you into their home, and because y'all only had one home, it's easier to just pay it off if not already paid off, and like sell it. And like that's one way to build generational wealth, by the way, instead of all this vacation y'all keep talking about. But again, another way where being an actual couple actually helps you in the long run, as opposed to this weird shit that people want to do, which they're trying to force that being single be just as cheap as being in a relationship. Like, y'all really got to cut the shit. Please stop.
Example. As anyone who has ever shopped at something like Costco or Sam's Club knows, buying in bulk can often mean getting cheaper prices. And while a family or a couple can take advantage of those bulk sizes because there's more people to eat the food, a single person may really struggle with bringing home 16 avocados and actually eating them all before they go bad. So in practice, this means the two people can be living in the same town, working the same job, coming from the same family and economic backgrounds, and have two radically different lived financial experiences depending on whether or not they have a partner. Delta Airlines, United Airlines, and American Airlines were charging what some described as a, quote, tax on single travelers on certain routes, Thrifty Travelers analysis found, with a fare doubling in at least one instance. And travel data tells us on things like tours and cruises, seat prices are based on two people. So if you're just a single person trying to have a good time, you're likely going to pay more than someone who is in a couple. But there's also the social single tax. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't talk about because they don't really realize it's happening or ways that they themselves might be upholding it. Simply put, as a single person, your needs, achievement, and big life moments are always put on a back burner compared to your partnered friends. Often while being told to just keep your chin up because...
What? So, as a single guy, if I have friends who are married, I'm struggling to come up with a scenario where my accomplishments would be put on a back burner for their, like, is she talking about my promotion versus them having another child or something? Like, I'm lost there. I hope, hopefully she'll give an example, because right now I'm just, again, lost. I can't really grasp where she's going with this.
Your person is out there, and someday you too will reach the pinnacle of actually being partnered. I think the most classic example of this is wedding culture. And while this is definitely financial in nature, it is also quite cultural and personal as well. It is the cultural norm to celebrate partnership in the United States. We celebrate couples getting engaged, we have wedding showers, we have bachelorette trips, and then the actual wedding itself. And over the last decade, a lot of these celebrations have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. It's no longer the expectation that a couple of nights before the wedding, you and your girls will go out for a few drinks and we'll call that your bachelorette party. The expectation now for someone's wedding is you'll get on a plane and meet me in Nashville. You'll get on a plane and meet me in the Caribbean to celebrate my bachelorette. And then you'll get on a plane again a couple months later to come to my actual wedding, leading the celebration of someone else's wedding to cost individuals thousands of dollars. And this gets quite emotionally complicated for...
Is it me, or does she sound like a hating ass friend? God. like she gave a hypothetical of her friend Well, just somebody having friends, but like it was all negative. It was all negative. Damn, like I'm not saying she's the type of person like friend in real life. I don't know, obviously, but that was a hating ass, long ass like thing she just did there. Like she literally just went, you gotta travel for your friend, and then they're making everything like more expensive, and then like your friend, and they have like all this other celebrations, and then like what about yours? Like you gotta think about the shit you just listed, lady. Now, granted, yes, I agree. People are going way overboard with these weddings and parties and all that shit. They're way overboard, but they're still events nonetheless. Like what it like you have what a promotion and like you might get promoted and have like a birthday, right? Like what else does a single person typically have to celebrate versus what she just listed what for a couple, which is a bachelorette party, the wedding, baby shower if they do it in that order, um the whole engagement, like they just have more shit to celebrate. Like obviously because they have more milestones. What is your milestone? What is your milestone as a single person? Like seriously. Or hell, even the situation she just described where she's been partnered for 12 years. What is her milestone? They didn't get married, so what was the event to go to fly to celebrate? What was it? So of course they're going to have more shit to celebrate. This is as a single person too, like fully single. Other people who are married, they have more shit to celebrate because they do more shit. That's just reality. I don't really know what you could be looking at there.
Single or partnered but unmarried people, because there is no expectation that these friends will do the same for you because you may not ever get married. And honestly, it is hard to
No
talk about this
shit.
discrepancy without being read as bitter. But I will again share from my
Yeah.
personal life. I am the only unmarried person in my group of high school friends. Some of my high school friends got married a decade ago at this point. I've gone to all of their weddings and I've spent thousands to do so. And of course, I was happy to do it.
Before she finishes, bro, think about that. She's the only unmarried friend. Some of them got married more than 10 years ago, so about the same time frame as she's been with this partner guy. So it still begs the question, why are you just kind of just like not doing it? Why? And again, I gotta say it again. Even if your marriage is just you gathered your families together, you said your vows, and that's your marriage. Why haven't you done it? Why? It's just a weird concept of you've seen it done several times apparently, and you're just like, no, not for me. That to me is you actively saying something about your situation, your partner. To me, that's got to be something you're saying because you see it happening around you nonstop. So what are you like? What's the deal? You might be offended by the question, but it's a very valid question. If literally everybody else around you is doing it and you're just foregoing it, and then also saying, why don't I get the same benefits that they get? Because you didn't do what they did. So, yeah, it's fair to ask, when are you going to do it? Why haven't you done it? That's a fair question. Because you're asking, why don't you get the same things that they get? You didn't do what they did. Why is it like isn't the video over now? Like that doesn't that answer the question that she keeps asking this whole video, this whole 20-minute video?
But here I am, not sure if I will ever get married myself. And even if I do get married,
12 years, lady. 12 years. Literally get up, and I'm assuming you're doing this at home. Go into the other room and say, hey bro, look, I guess might as well at this point, dude. Like it's like 12, like might as well. Like what the fuck? How can you say this part right here of I might never get married? Like 12 years, dude. 12 years. Maybe just like send the papers to the state. You don't even have an event. Literally just tell everybody, hey, this is our vows. Read it, weep. We're Signed, so delivered. Married. Like, alrighty.
I'm going to be an older bride. My friends' lives have moved on to now not just being married, but becoming parents. So their schedules have changed. Their time is allocated for in a way that it didn't used to be. So even if I do get married, I'm not totally sure they would be able to come even if they wanted to. And notably, even though I've done really cool things, things that I'm very proud of, such as buying my house and writing a book, nobody sent me gifts or made a registry for them.
Okay, I hate to be the party pooper here, but as someone who has a mortgage, buying a house is not a cool thing. It's just a thing, right? Like, unless you're like somebody who got bread like that and you buying cash, you can like literally just like build your house from scratch or buy the, like, if you're Drake, yeah, I could imagine buying another house is a cool thing. But people like us, I'm assuming she's just a regular person. Buying a house is not a cool thing. You're literally mortgaging your future. Like, it's not cool. Yeah, you got a crib you can call yours as long as you make the payments, but I wouldn't say it's a cool thing. It's just, again, like, look, I'm pointing this out because remember, look at what she's calling milestones here. Like, she called this part cool. You did it, but these banks are trying. They want to give debt to people so they can like get that shit back quick, like that. Like the mortgage they gave you for your house, they had that shit back the first 10 years. So like they want to give it to you. So I don't. To me, it's just I don't call it a cool thing, but whatever.
Those. And that's just because we don't see those accomplishments as anywhere near as important as getting married. Another aspect of the
Because they're not. They're not forming that union, right? Again, two families or more, if you again you like that, but for the most part, forming that bond with two families there and having a common goal. You're supposed to have a common goal. It's not just supposed to be, oh, we're in a honeymoon phase and we feel really good about each other and we're just going to live life and have travel and blah blah. No, you're supposed to have some sort of a common goal, linear path. But you're it's just been whittled down to this thing of an event, as she said before, just an event, right? So where do you really go with that? You probably end up like in this with people like her, and they look at it it's like, oh, it's just a thing. It's just like
social single tax is this idea that your partner is just out there somewhere and your life has to be on hold until you find them. We tell someone, oh, just keep looking, you'll find someone, as if the life that they're living while they're single doesn't matter. As if they have to put on hold their hopes and dreams and plans until they can do those things with another person. And honestly, as if everything.
Ma'am, you are a horrible example. This should not be coming from you. Literally, your person ain't out there. They're like in the house. Like your person is in the house. And look at the video you're making. Look at the complaints you have. You're the worst example for this. Yeah, you kind of should go, what are my hopes and dreams? Will that get me a partner? Maybe I should change that shit. Like, you're the worst example for this.
They ever achieve while single doesn't matter as much as not only finding that partner, but doing things with that partner. And this cultural expectation really grinds.
They don't. Seriously, they don't. Right? Because think about it. One of the things that I've said this, I think I said this earlier in the video, that one of the things that people like to bring up a lot, generational wealth, generational wealth, generational wealth, generational wealth. Well, if you don't have the fucking kids, like what next generation is there for the wealth? Like it's not, you know what I mean? Unless you leave it to like nieces and nephews, which I guess is, I'm not going to guess. That is a thing you can do, but you actually have to do it, right? It has to actually be a plan. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to give it to my sister's kids and she'll have it. You still have to actually plan for that. Like, because you get more out of it if the whole family, or as people call it, the village, is actually actively moving towards that and planning properly, right? Because now since those kids are going to have more financial power as adults, since more people for going having their own kids and instead contributed to them, Well, they're now they're they have more of a chance now, right? But you actually have to do it right. So even then, you still have to have a goal for it. You can't just go generational wealth and then spend all that shit and then not have kids and it's all this good. No. So again, like she's the wrong example for all of this.
My gears personally because the data tells us that single, unmarried women are the happiest people in society.
Oh my
We
God.
know that married women do more household labor than unmarried women. And we
Oh God. Based on what? Based on what? I need to look up that study to see how they got to that point, that number, right? Because it just doesn't. I don't understand. Like I've heard that in several different ways, and wording is very important when talking about this. When you say that, okay, so two ways I'm going to bring up and show the difference here is they said married women, like she just said, married women do more household than single women. The other way I've heard it said is that married women do more household chores than their partners who also work in the home. So I need to really understand what they mean when they're citing this study that I've never seen. And I don't mean to say that it doesn't exist. I'm saying I've never seen it, so I need to know exactly what they mean when they cite this study, right? But I'm going to explain how both can be not as bad as they're trying to make it out to be, right? As I said earlier in this video, women prefer, they said all the time, doesn't mean that they always do, but they say all the time that they prefer to get with a guy who makes more than them. Because that's just supposed to be his role. Well, by default, isn't he kind of, or the situation going to push for that they're going to take on more of the duty inside the home? Don't they say that they want to like kind of take a step back from the workforce since they have the husband? Isn't that going to give edge the numbers more in the way of her doing more household chores? Right? Also, another thing, a lot of women have this weird thing for like either perfection or it has to be done a certain way. Example, one main household chore is laundry, right? Or cleaning, whatever. We just go general cleaning. Even women on the internet they don't have their own running joke with this, which is, I want someone to do something, but they don't do the way I like them to do it, so I do it anyway. Does that contribute to the numbers of married women who work doing more household chores? And the reason this is important to me is I'm sick and tired of the men are bad because they will just watch their wives work inside and outside the home and just do nothing and sit on their ass. You got to give the proper context to all of this before we start making any of these finger pointy judgments here. All right? Okay.
know that married women are more likely to experience anxiety and depression than unmarried women. But the patriarchy is so deep in so many of our
Oh my fucking God. People, especially people like her in America, there's not a person alive today that has seen a patriarchy. The definition I looked up years ago, but I'm sure it's still the same, was for patriarchy. It said women excluded from power or excluding women from power. Ma'am, y'all not excluded from power. You're not. And no, men, this society is not designed for men to just like run shit. Please stop. If society was designed for men to quote unquote run shit, we wouldn't also have men with the same complaints that a lot of women have, which is, sorry, like I literally, that one dude I seen years ago, I shouldn't have to work just to live. You wouldn't have a male loneliness epidemic, which I really need to see where they got that from as well. You wouldn't have any of these male complaints other than the only complaint men was have was these bitches won't shut up. If you got a real patriarchy, that's the only complaint you have from it. But you don't have a patriarchy. Please stop lying. Again, stop with the victim narrative. This is a finance channel. Please stop with the victim narratives. Please. It's hard to take a conversation serious when people just resort to the whole I'm a victim. Please help me. Give me what I want because I'm a victim. Please stop doing that. Please.
Our goals, or the ones that will emotionally or maybe even physically support us through our challenges in our relationships or with our children. This is particularly unfair because while your single friend is providing you with support, they will then have to go home alone to a place where no one else is doing the dishes, no one else has.
Get the fuck out of here. Did you really just, yeah, you wonder why people think you're a bitter friend? So while I just consoled you and gave you support, nobody gave a fuck about me or gave me support. In your own made up hypothetical. In your own made up hypothetical, your friend is a bad person who can't help you. And you're the good guy who just sent them their way. How dare they use their own time? Oh my God. This has to be one of those unknown reasons why married people don't want their spouses hanging around single people. Because God, bro, you just really made yourself another victim of your fucking friend. You just made yourself a victim of your friend and their circumstances. Damn.
Run the vacuum, no one else has made their lunch for tomorrow. They are their own support systems. Single people also don't have anyone who is expected to solely prioritize them, the way that those of us in partnerships have the expectation that our partner will prioritize us over friends or work. So when a single person inevitably does need support, they don't have the same reliance on their married friends to show up for them in that way. Their needs as a single person will always come second to a partner or a child.
Maybe get married then? Like, maybe do that? Wouldn't that make sense? Instead of saying we should compensate people to not get. All right.
In my approach to financial education, I talk a lot about community building because I believe that community building is key to financial planning. I always like to say, yes, you need to save and invest for your future so you can pay for healthcare, but you also need someone who can drive you to the hospital. And part of my approach to community building is looking outside of the nuclear family to build relationships with people. And I encourage other people to prioritize their platonic and aromantic relationships. Now, I personally practice community building in a lot of different ways, through volunteering, through going to local meetups, through getting involved in causes and issues that I'm interested in and care about. Having platonic relationships is something that a lot of Americans are currently struggling with, as evidenced by our loneliness crisis. Now, some of community building is going to literally be leaving your house and trying to meet new people, but another fantastic place for those of us who are partnered or married to start is to begin prioritizing their single friends in a way that they haven't before. Reach out to them and support them.
No. Okay, I was with her when she said build a community since you don't want to be in a relationship. Fine. A community of single people who don't want to be in relationships, which kind of defeats the purpose, but fine. But then you go, oh, treat your single friends like I guess like you would treat a spouse. It doesn't really matter. The idea of your single person is going to be included in the exact same way. No, they got married for a reason. You either go form your community or go find your own spouse. This shit is stupid. I remember when it was a trend, right, for women to get on the internet, on social media, more specifically, look up Sherry Shepherd since she's famous and you can like look at it. You had Sherry, she was on Steve Harvey's show and she said, ladies, tell your husbands to look out for the single mothers and something. It's like, no, go find your own damn man. Like that was stupid. That was a stupid trend that they were trying to push then. Same deal here. If you want to find your community, fine. But otherwise, if you want that same support, go and find your own spouse. Well, how the fuck do you are really just trying to convince people to have them be the same as included like if they were somebody's spouse or part of the family when they went and got married to this other person who wasn't them for a reason. Stop trying to tell people to be single and then just like become like the burden third stringer, dude. Like quit doing that shit.
Where they are in their lives. Celebrate the non-romantic milestones that they
No.
are hitting. Check in on them on a random Tuesday to see how it's going.
That's fine.
If you're a single person watching this, here's what I suggest. Consider not just what you can or can't financially afford, but also what you can or can't emotionally afford. Be honest with yourself about your budget for that.
That's a fair thing. But one thing I want to try to like, I'm like curious to see if she does this. I want to see if one of her solutions is, hey, maybe try to actually like find your like your spouse, and maybe that'll like fix some things. I'm curious to see if she throws that in there.
Think intentionally about community building, chosen family, and reciprocal friendships. And treat joy as a necessity, not a luxury. Your fun money isn't optional, it's your life. And if
Number 3 is sad as hell. Because now you get to the point where you're replacing that human connection with buying shit. That's what you just done there. You've made it to where now the advice is, since you're going to be single, focus on buying shit so that you can enjoy yourself. That's crazy. The better advice, like I said, would be if you want that you see what married people have, maybe go get your own. That's probably better advice.
you're partnered in watching this video, here's what you can be doing to support your single friends. Stop assuming
No, the fuck you didn't, bro. Listen, what you can do to support your single friends is when you all like have your time together. Like one thing, like the only thing I do that married people are involved with is playing ball. That's about it. And whatever that is, that activity is for the married people who do things with their single friends, like that's all you can really do to support them. Is when that time comes up, go ahead and like share that time with them. That bonding situation. Outside of that, this going like the extra to include them and make them feel like, no. Get your own. Get your own. Stop trying to like recreate systems or redesign systems so that you can be like single and like it's weird. She just said single women are the happiest group. But also you're single, like, so is this like a PSA for single men? Because otherwise it makes no sense. If you are including single women in this advice for couples to like include them, it wouldn't make sense because they're the happiest demographic, remember? You're actually trampling on their happiness and potentially making them less happy by including them. There's no fucking way you can say that they're the happiest group, but also include them because, you know, they're struggling in their singleness or not fully fulfilled. They're the happiest group, remember? So leave them be. Something about this is full of shit.
Your life is on pause or hasn't started. Offer reciprocity in emotional labor. Check in on them. Ask how they're doing.
Look at that first part of this. Offer reciprocity in emotional labor. If you don't catch that, what she's saying is, again, your single childless friend, because of course they're just also childless, right? They're that responsible. Your single childless friend is taking on emotional labor for you and your married ass. So reciprocate, bitch. And quit just being an emotional labor hog in this motherfucker. Like, that's what that sentence says there. It's assuming that the single friend does the emotional labor and is giving and taking the stress from them, but the married friend is not reciprocating that back. Dude, if I was married and my single friend did this, I would say, nigga, get away and never come back. Cause you are just a toxin for like my situation. There's no way if I was married and my single friend said this, I would want them around after this. because you are absolutely a toxin to people's situation. Stop demanding shit from me and go get your own is what I would say.
You have space to help hold the hard things or feelings or responsibilities that they have to deal with. For example, if your husband is pretty handy with tools and your single friend doesn't have the bandwidth to hire someone to fix their bathroom door, send that man over to their house.
Oh my God. I accidentally called it. I accidentally called it. Again, there's no fucking way you just told us 10 minutes ago that single women are the happiest demographic, but also you need to send your husband over there because she doesn't have that and she just needs to be even more happy. Why the fuck are we prioritizing number one and giving them more shit? Why would we, what? What? The happiest demographic they need to be the focal point of getting help. No fuck. Oh my God. How does the happiest group feel so burdened with emotional labor of their married friends who I'm assuming those are men, right? Because women would just know to reciprocate that energy, wouldn't they? This is the finance channel, by the way. Wow. That is mind blowing. That is mind blowing, bro. We went from single women are the happiest demographic to let that bitch borrow your husband because she's, a bit in need. Don't send no dick over though. Just the drill. Wow. All right. I want to see like the male version of this where somebody's like, hey, bro, yo, dude be needing his foes washed and fluff, bro. Send your wife over there so he can get his clothes, his drawers washed. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't leave him hanging. He be tired of eating McDonald's. Send your wife over there with a plate. You know, I'm like, I want to see that video and how people take that. The fuck that I'm making that video. I am making that video, bro. I'm doing it from the point of view of a single dude, bro. You married guys, bro. I just ate KFC for like the third time this week, bro. Send your bitch to the crib with some motherfucking egg noodles. Dog, I am making that video. Oh my God. Wow. The entitlement, bro. That's crazy. You see how they think that it's okay to pimp us out. That's crazy.
Be financially conscious. If you're organizing group trips, events, or celebrations, acknowledge that splitting the costs is not neutral. So be creative in considering a more equitable solution for costs. Include them.
I don't know what that means. A more economical solution for something with trips with your single friends. Are you? Does that mean that they get less of the financial burden on their split, or does that mean go places that only they can afford with their single ass? Again, why not just go and get your own family so you can like be equal and shit? That's very weird concept. Like when I watch these dating shows out here, be equal, at least equal. And then for some reason your single friend gets to just be this needy give me person. That's it's a very weird concept. Again, these might not be the same people, but sure seems like it to me.
In your family unit intentionally, not.
No. Go get your own. Remember, this is the part, listen, how to support your single friends. She's telling married people how to support, let's be real. She's telling married women how to support their single female friends. No. Use that vax to go get your own. What the fuck? Why do you get to just demand that your married friend should just like your married friend needs to include her single friends into her family unit? What? You're begging for some bullshit to go down. You're begging for that. Remember when that dude who swung that axe went viral because he was like real strong. He made like the sounds when he hit the wheel, and like women were like use like remixing it with the reaction of like they're like turned on and like getting creamy and all that shit. You're going to send your handyman husband
Someone's at your door.
over there to witness this in action? If he repairs like her, I don't know, her like door or some shit, it's just like, you know what I'm like, just really like taking care of shit. You don't have any fear that she like, oh shit, nigga, like I dropped my drawers. Can you pick them up? Like you don't like no fear of that happening at all. You are begging for some bullshit to go down. But all right, keep doing this shit.
As a last minute invite. Dinner invites, holidays, help during busy season. Don't let your nuclear family become a walled garden, only allowed to be peeked over by your fellow partnered friends who just understand better. Don't prioritize coupledom over community. Don't make your single friend the constant third, fifth, or seventh wheel in.
Oh hell no. Whoa. If I'm not mistaken, she just said, don't make your household your focal point of your life. Yes, absolutely do that. That's your fucking marriage. What? How, like, again, if I was a married guy and some dude was like, hey, bros over hoes, like, I would be like, get the fuck out of my face, dude. Like, that's crazy. Like, now I see why people was retweeting that goofy ass. Now I can't call it goofy anymore, but where it was like dudes like, man, I was wondering like where it came from, but it might be shit like this. But dudes was like tweeting out like the male version was, hell yeah, I'm gonna go home to my girl. I ain't no, don't call me no name, nigga. She give me pussy and feed me. And like now I'm seeing how like why shit like that came about. Cause like people like this really exist that I'm supposed to look at my household and like prioritize it less because you're single? Get the fuck out my face with that. Like if I feel like I found somebody and we doing our thing, why the fuck would I give a fuck that you voluntarily didn't find somebody and I'm just supposed to include you? Man, you better go on that vacation and find somebody. But get out of here. The fuck?
Your group couple friend plans.
Oh shit.
Now, if you're online the same way I am, you've probably noticed there has been a lot of conversation recently about how to build a village. This is something I myself have made a lot of content about, and I know Chelsea really made a whole bunch of content about this, especially in promotion of her new fabulous book, Having People Over. Of course, the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, is centered on this idea of.
It's funny that people say that, but don't never take the village to make that fucking child not do it. The village can never tell you, not him, not her. The village can never tell you, you know what? You two are the better couple, so go ahead and y'all be together. The village can never actually dictate anything, but somehow the village is always responsible for giving you shit. I really hate that the village argument because you don't really give a fuck about what the village got to say and got to give. You just want like again like this entire video me. I'm partnered, but not really. I'm single, but not really. Me. I'm sick of that village argument because it's really it's a me argument at the end of the day.
Children, but as you think about building your village, you have to make space for those who are coupled and those who are single. And I encourage you to ask yourself, how can we move away from our current cultural model of the nuclear family to a wider, broader definition of supporting all types?
The proper question is why? What if you stick to one singular thing, you can more likely master that thing. So trying to go, oh no, let it be monogamous couples, but also a bunch of single ass people, but also a bunch of just like weird like we're just going to like adopt a bunch of fucking kids, even though we could just make our like no, you don't do the whole let's white make freezing eggs and having implanted at 50. No. If you prioritize married couples, straight married couples, and like the marriage thing, like then you more likely have a working quote unquote village. But trying to like put the all this other shit that she's trying to do in there, you actually have a more of a problematic village because the needs of those single people obviously are very, very different from those a couple people, evidenced by the shit that she's listing in this 20-minute video.
Of people in all types of relationships or lack thereof. It is my strong opinion that the future cannot rely on the nuclear family alone. And if we insist that it does, we miss out on building incredible relationships with people and we miss out on building support for ourselves.
I wouldn't call it incredible for somebody to say, "Hey, we're the happiest demographic of people, but also we need shit from you, because we just giving so much to you, so just give it to us." Like I can't call that great, but okay, that's what you want to call it.
Single people and partnered people need to build community together.
No,
we
you
can't
don't.
be off in our own little islands just because of our relationship status.
Yes, you can.
And that's going to look a lot of different ways. It's going to look like shared childcare.
That's oh wow! I paused at the perfect moment. How many of y'all single people just want to like babysit the couples people simply because y'all are a village? How many? Right? You try when they trying to go on their vacation, you trying to hit the club. Like, let's be real. This is not just going to be just some soft for like child care crisis thing. That's not going to happen. But I forgot what I was about to say. We'll just skip over that and play it.
Financial transparency, celebrating non-traditional milestones, acknowledging that the world is more expensive for single people, having family dinners, sharing skills and talents outside of your own home. We should be as
That's called work. What the fuck? That's called the rec center. That's called the park. Why? Like, what are you doing? What are we really like? You're not reinventing anything, lady. You're just naming it some goofy shit. Everything she just said is already happening. It's called America. You do this shit from Sunday to Saturday. Like, what is like seriously? What is this? All this is about because shit is more expensive for single women. Like, learn how to like meal prep. I don't want to tell you outside of that. But this, like, you're seriously, you're just literally like renaming shit that already happens.
ambitious and as excited about our platonic friendships as we are our romantic relationships. One thing that I have really leaned into in my own personal life in the last 3 or 4 years is building strong community and particularly building strong friendships. I've moved around a lot in my adulthood. I've lived in Connecticut, Texas, North Carolina, and now Massachusetts. And that means I've had to go out of my way to make friends every single place I've lived. And I can tell you that broadening my own personal definition of family to include chosen family and to include people that are making different life choices than I am has only enriched my life. I'm 37, and one of the friends that I speak to most frequently is a 25-year-old. We are completely different generations. She's single, I'm partnered. She has a traditional W-2 job. I'm an entrepreneur. But we have a lot in common when it comes to our values and our interests, and we both make the decision to prioritize our relationship with each other.
So you have a friend. And as I said, what you're asking for literally already happens. Do you really believe that if you didn't have some weird idea about making a village, you wouldn't have made her your friend when you apparently enjoy talking to her and being around her? Like, you're not inventing anything new. You're not asking for anything new. This is just life. Everyday life. What the fuck? Like, you're like, this is like regular shit. And you're making it like this profound. Oh, we prioritize. It's regular shit. It's Tuesday, bro.
Live near me, so in this relationship we have a bi-weekly phone date, and it's on my calendar every 2 weeks. We're literally going on vacation together next year. It's very exciting. Being single is still seen as socially taboo, so the last thing that those of us who—
No, it's not. What? See, that right there ought to tell you she's full of shit, bro. Like, come on. It's taboo. Being single is taboo. Really? Even though the stats she had earlier, like half of adults are single. What the fuck? Like, seriously. She really just said taboo after all those stats she had at the beginning. The definition of full of shit. Right there. Right there. Picture right next to it.
Our partnered need to do is make our single friends' lives harder, whether that means socially or financially. And luckily, what I found as someone who has really prioritized community building in my own life is that people want to connect, people want to hang out, people are down to be friends, and they are down to make room for you in their life. All right, y'all, that's it from me.
Literally, people have had things called game night well before she made this video. Like, it's like community building. It's community build. Oh shit! Whoa, community building has been a thing forever. I don't care what the society was. I don't care if it was like literally a village in the jungle or like life out in the suburbs. Community building has always been a thing. Always. This is not some new concept. What the fuck? And no, you're never going to get more of a mixture of single and partnered people than what you have today. You just never want to get it. This is about as good as you're going to get it. A married couple will have a house on the same, right next door to a forever single person. An apartment right next door to a forever single person. Like, this is about as much as you're going to get out of it, because it's a complete mix here, right? So, like, I don't know I really don't know where her angle is. I don't know if she like really believes she's profound and found some new idea, or if she's just full of shit and this is a way to get like more clicks and sell like a pamphlet or something. I don't know, but I don't know what you think. Put in the comment section. Be right, not positive. I'm out.